Our dude, class of 2025 committed Miami Hurricanes quarterback Luke Nickel just went to the Elite 11 finals in California and did great.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Shout out to the everydayers, and thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first or your second listen today. We're free wherever you get your podcasts. We're available free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I mentioned Luke Nickel, who he made the final cut of the final 11 at the Elite 11. That was just a few days ago. And Luke Nickel is nice enough to join us here tonight on Locked On Canes. Now, Luke, you obviously performed very well, and we'll talk about it. But, you know, to see all your hard work get recognized and to make that final 11, how good did that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it felt really good. Just growing up, always wanted to be a part of that special group, the Elite 11, and then finally getting my chance to go out there and put on a show and just soak it all in while I'm there and just learn as much as I can. It was just a super cool experience, and it was a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
Some of the things that scouts were impressed with about you, the throwing mechanics, the consistency, and a lot of the instincts. Now, I mentioned your hard work, Luke. I know you've worked really hard to try and put these skills together as you continue to do so, because obviously this is, you're always striving to get as close to perfection as possible. But how young were you when you started training as a quarterback and working at this position? At what point did that start in your life?
Yeah, I felt like, as a young age, I always loved the game of football, and just growing up, I mean, I've had a brother, I've had a dad that played football, and just seeing them and seeing their footsteps, I kind of wanted to always, you know, elevate my game and follow in their footsteps and just following their lead, really. And then, just growing up, I've always had, a good skill set, and just always being able to sharpen my tool as much as I can. Getting better each and every day has just been what I've been trying to do, because there's always room for improvement, and just growing as much as I can in every aspect of the game.
We're joined here by Miami Hurricanes class of 2025 quarterback commit Luke Nickel. And Luke, you also do a lot of extra football, right? Because it seems like every weekend I see on social media, hey, Luke Nickel just won another 7-on-7 tournament, right? You're on Cam Newton's 7-on-7 team. You won a tournament with a team from your high school recently. Do you ever take a break from football?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I get a good amount of time away from football. I mean, that time's not always easy though, because I just love the game so much. But it's always good to get some alone time and just time to hang out with your friends and just do things outside of the game, because it's important to do that. Just hang out with them and spend as much time as you can, really.
So what was the experience of the Elite 11 finals like, Luke? Because you're out there with a couple dozen of the other top quarterbacks in the class of 2025. Well, what was it like being out there with so many great players?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience for me. Just being out there with the best of the best, and the best coaches, being able to learn from them, soak in all the information from them, and just basically maximize my time. Those 3 days there was what I was trying to do: get as much as I can out of it. Improve my game in any way I can. But it was super cool just being with those guys, and just competing with them those 3 days.
You've been locked in as a verbal commit to Miami for quite some time. How familiar do you feel kind of already? And you still have another season of high school to play, of course, but how familiar do you feel with Miami's style of offense and what's going to be expected of you from Shannon Dawson once you get on campus?
Yeah, I always feel like there's gonna be a learning curve. Just everyone coming into college, learning the playbook, whether that's offense or defense. But in my situation, really just once I get to Miami, just spending as much time as I can with the coaching staff, and learning the whole offense, inside and out, just knowing every single thing I can. Being a mastermind of that offense will be able to elevate my game. Just making sure I'm ready, every aspect that I can. Just try to do my best to be ready for the games.
You recently had your official visit to Miami, and I always hear these stories, Luke, about what an amazing time you guys have when you take that OV. I see the photos of the boat rides in Biscayne Bay. I hear people talk about Mario Cristobal's house. What were some of the highlights of your official visit?
That visit was amazing, and just spending all the time that I could with the coaching staff and the other recruits was just really cool. We did a lot of things. We went out to dinner. We went to Coach Cristobal's house, and I think that was my favorite part, was just spending the time with them. And a lot of the players were there too, so just kind of seeing the whole family vibe was just super cool. And that's just something that I wanted to be a part of, and that's why I committed so early.
Yeah, and you've not only did you commit early, but you've kept your recruitment shut down. Like you're not taking other visits. I've said this about you, Luke, before. You're about as locked in as anyone can be. 5 months before National Signing Day. It's hard to be more locked in than you are, and you've made that very clear throughout your process. Do you still hear from other schools, or has that kind of quieted down?
I definitely hear from some schools here and there, but just going through the process. The recruiting is definitely a crazy world out there, and just when I was getting recruited, just my whole plan was to soak it all in and find the right school for me. And I felt like I did that here with Miami, and I'm just super excited to you know finally get to Miami in January and just work my way up.
Yeah, and so you just said, and you did say this the last time we spoke to you here on Locked On Canes, but I want to reiterate, like you just said, January. So you do plan to be an early enrollee at Miami, January of 2025, correct?
Yes, sir. I do.
I love that. So you mentioned during your official visit, there were a lot of current Miami players that are around for that stuff. How much time have you had to interact with the quarterbacks who are already at Miami, from Ward, Poffenbarger, Emery Williams, Judd Anderson? Have you had a chance to spend time with any of these guys?
Yeah, we actually we hung out a good bit actually. I mean, Judd's from Georgia, so he was my host on the OV. And me and him have built a pretty good relationship so far. And we went top golfing, and Reese was there. So really, just spending the time with those guys is just super fun, because those will be the guys that will be in the QB room, and those will be my future teammates. So just being able to spend as much time as I could with them and getting to know them was just super cool for me.
So I got to know, like, what's Reese's drive like? Because we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and like he was literally about to go golfing, like right after he talked to me, and I heard someone say he's supposedly a scratch golfer. So was Reese out there like hustling the driving range?
Yeah, I hate to say it because I don't want to give him too much credit, but he's pretty good. I mean, just, he's got the nice clubs and everything, and then he just steps up, hits the ball like almost over the net, like but it's all good. He's a super cool guy. And then it was a really fun time.
Absolutely. And it's something, you and I were just joking about this. Well, not joking about it. It's actually pretty serious. We were talking about this off air before you came on. You're going to be coming in with a number of big time offensive linemen. There's already 4 committed in your class of 2025. And I don't think Miami's done yet, but there's already 4 committed. And Max Buchanan just committed last night. TK Mew is on board. Demetrius Campbell, Jaden Wilkerson, both committed pretty recently. So, for a quarterback, Luke, I know you'd like to keep your jersey as clean as possible down here. What does it mean to be coming in with so many offensive linemen?
Oh, it's special. And the thing is, we're definitely not done yet. I like how you said that, because we're definitely not done. But super excited about the group that we already have. You know, really good dudes, people that really want to be Miami Hurricanes, and just I mean, if you look at the size on them, I mean, come on, like just that's why they call it the Great Wall of Maribor. And they're going to be a wall in front of me for like really, and just having that protection is just um it's really just perfect as a quarterback. You get to just get the ball to your playmakers, and you feel really comfortable out there.
Always one of my favorite things when I cover recruiting is to see guys like yourself, very very active on social media, recruiting other players to hopefully join you at Miami. Do you have like a bunch of text threads open with offensive linemen, maybe receivers in the class of 2025? How much time do you spend, Luke, trying to spread the gospel of Miami to others?
Oh, I try to spread it as much as I can. I mean, the thing about Miami is like I don't even try to pitch that nothing to them. I just show them what's there. I mean, they can see it for themselves. I mean, you can see how special Miami is, and when people realize how special it is, I mean, that's that you see um, how special it is really, and the guys that have already committed, they've noticed it, and I'm just super excited to see, who joins the boat, and just our relationship really with the commits have kind of grown. I mean, we already have group chats and stuff like that, so just being able to get to know each and one of the guys is just really cool for us.
Obviously, a big part of being a Miami Hurricane is the Florida State rivalry. Now you're not from Florida, but like oftentimes the players who are in state, like they grew up playing with or playing against players who were on the other side of that rivalry. You're actually going to have one of those because your teammate CJ Wiley recently committed to Florida State. Is that going to add a little something extra on game days once you guys go up head to head in a couple years?
Yeah, I actually joked with him the other day. I was at his commitment, and when he made it, I just kind of made a little joke to him about how me and him are kind of enemies now, but just it's kind of funny. But I'm super proud of him. Just the growth that he's had, and him now, just seeing the growth is just kind of really cool for a quarterback to see. And I'm just super excited to see how he does this year, because it's going to be a really cool year. And I'm hoping to, maybe have him break some more records.
Yeah, and listen, like I always say, Luke, I have no ill will. I always want every recruit, I want them to make the decision that's best for them and best for their families. Now, in your case, I'm glad that best decision was Miami, because we're looking forward to seeing you. Obviously you had your official visit a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I saw you and your dad at the spring game a couple months back. I know you'd been down to Miami prior. How many times have you been down to Coral Gables now?
A few times now. Right before I committed, I've been once. So it was for like the summer cookout, and that's really when I knew I wanted to be a cane. And that's when I pulled the trigger. And then I came down for a game against Texas A&M, and that was just a super cool experience getting to see that offense live. I mean, they put up some crazy numbers that game, and that's really where I saw the future of Miami. And then um, I came down for us during our 7-on-7 week in January in the Battle of Miami, and that was just another cool time. And then springtime came along. I came for the spring game, and then obviously my official visit. So I mean, just looking back on those visits, every time I'm able to come back, it just feels like home even more. And every visit just gets better and better.
I love to hear that. Do you have any idea what your major is going to be? What you want to study at the U?
Um, you know, I'm still kind of figuring that part out. Just going through the process, kind of just trying to make sure I figure out the right one for me, is what I've been trying to do. But something with maybe business, real estate, things like that. So that's kind of what I'm interested in.
Well, if you end up getting into real estate, South Florida is a good spot for that, because this place is, the real estate market is always
Oh
up
yeah,
down here, so it's definitely a good place to be involved in that.
that's what I've been hearing.
Oh, no doubt about that. Well, listen, we appreciate your time so much. Luke Nickel was one of the top performers at the Elite 11 finals this past week. We're so glad he's going to be a Miami Hurricane. Luke, best of luck to you. I'm so happy that you and your family are going to become Miami Hurricanes. So God bless you, and can't wait to cover you in practices come January.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Tremendous. We'll talk to everybody next time. And if any news breaks tonight, we will be back. I got nowhere to be. Busy times like these. We'll talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.